Hi guys, and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron, and welcome back today to another live stream. I hope you all are doing really well. It's still absolutely boiling outside. I've got into a rhythm of starting these live streams by talking about the weather recently, because I just can't go 2 minutes without mentioning how hot it is in Liverpool at the moment. It's 10 to 10 in the morning, and it's 25 degrees outside. I feel like I'm on holiday, but I haven't got the perks of actually being on holiday, you know, the being off work and the sitting by a swimming pool and the drinking cocktails all day. It's just that hot. But I hope you all are doing really well. We're going to have a little chat about Everton's 1-0 victory over Blackburn Rovers on Saturday at USM Finch Farm. Everton's second pre-season friendly of this pre-season, and our last before heading over to Florida later this week for the Florida Cup. We got to see Jean-Philippe Gbamin in action again, Moise Kean back in action in an Everton shirt. We got to see various other players, Alex Iwobi, Andre Gomez, James Rodriguez, all in action for the Toffees. And we also got to see the new, obviously, away kit in action, which was fantastic to see as well. And actually fantastic that we've actually we've actually seen the away kit being worn during a win. You know, last time, before Saturday, every time I'd seen the away kit, I'd just been reminded of that horrible night in Manchester on the last game of the season, that horrible day in Manchester. Now I can actually look at the away kit and think, actually, do you know what? Yeah, that looks as good as it did when it was first released, rather than just thinking of this awful result against Manchester City. So that was a massive positive about the pre-season friendly, as well as we got to see the away kit back in action. And of course, it was another opportunity for us to see the players, where they're up to in regards to fitness. Obviously, some were, fitter than others, because some had been at training for longer than others. Obviously, due to the COVID protocols and stuff like that, certain players returned at different times. So you got to see the likes of Alan and Abdoulaye Doucouré back during the game, but obviously they weren't as fit as your likes of your Jean-Philippe Gbamins and your Tom Davises, etc., who have been at USM Finch Farm for a little bit longer due to them returning earlier than those other players. So it was good to see. Obviously the game wasn't streamed again. It wasn't there for us to watch, which was quite frustrating, to be honest with you. On one hand, I understand the club wanting to sort of make have these behind closed doors games as sort of private games, and not make a big deal out of them, because they're only, there for fitness and this, that and the other, and the real pre-season starts when we go over to Florida. I get that, but also, if the club are going to release an article at the end of the game, or they're going to release a report, detailing how the game went, and if they're going to release highlights on YouTube afterwards, and we all know when the game is on, and team, etc., that, why don't they just put it available to stream? They had a couple of commentators, I think Darren Griffiths and maybe Ian Snowden, might have been Graham Stewart, actually, one of those two, commentating on the game the other day. So why not just make the game available for us to watch? Obviously, you've got the facilities, it's being filmed because we had the highlights, you've got the commentators there to talk through the game. So would it be hard to live stream it on YouTube, or put it on evertonfc.com and just let us watch the players? Because it's been a difficult year for everybody, and obviously it's been a difficult summer. So I think it would have been nice for the club, even though these games don't really mean much and they're not really a big deal. I think it would have been nice for us to be able to at least have watched them and watch the players back in action. But regardless, we couldn't. We were getting dribs and drabs of information, during the game, and then obviously we had the highlights after the game. We do know that Jean-Philippe Gbamin scored the only goal of the game and his first goal in an Everton shirt. Absolutely fantastic to see Jean-Philippe Gbamin making an impact. Of course, 1 goal and 1 assist in 2 pre-season games for him. Obviously, he got an assist for Anthony Gordon's goal against Accrington Stanley, and he scored the winner on Saturday. He looks an absolute belter, doesn't he, Jean-Philippe Gbamin? You can tell that when that lad's fit, and if we can keep him fit, more so than when he is fit, if we can keep him fit, he is definitely going to be an asset for Everton going forward. And I know this, I don't want to sound cringy, and I don't want to sound like the typical cliche saying, but he will very much be like a new signing in the very literal term, that we've not really seen him much before, and now we've seen him for a couple of pre-season games. And albeit, I get it, same as what we said when we were talking about the Accrington Stanley game, you have to take the opposition into account, and Blackburn are a decent side. They're not a Premier League level side, I understand that, but Jean-Philippe Gbamin really did look, strong in the game on Saturday. He was picking the ball up, he was nicking the ball off their midfielders, he was driving forward, he was, players were just bouncing off him because of his physical strength. And I said this the other day, you don't actually realise how big and tall Jean-Philippe Gbamin is until you see him in the training videos playing alongside certain other players. There was one clip where James Rodriguez tried to chip the ball over his head and he just basically stood into it and just, knocked James Rodriguez off the ball, and you can see the sheer physical size difference in both players. And you can tell that if we can keep Jean-Philippe Gbamin fit, he could be a massive, massive, massive asset to next season. Not only because he's another midfielder and we need another midfielder, but also because of his sheer size and his sheer presence in the middle of the park. And he showed that in the first couple of pre-season games, hasn't he? And brilliant for him to get his first goal for Everton as well. It's been a long, long couple of years for Jean-Philippe Gbamin, a long couple of years for Jean-Philippe Gbamin. And I get that it's just a pre-season game, and I get that it doesn't really mean much, but to Jean-Philippe Gbamin, that'll mean an awful lot to have gone out and got the goal and to have played another 45 minutes under his belt. I think he played the first half. Again, it's difficult to really talk about the game in great detail because I didn't watch it. So I know Jean-Philippe Gbamin come off a half. He wasn't on for the second half, but I don't know if he come off before half time or at half time. I don't know. So brilliant to see Jean-Philippe Gbamin in action. Moise Kean back at USM Finch Farm as well and playing. Brilliant to see Moise Kean back in an Everton shirt. Obviously, we don't know what Moise Kean's future will hold. We don't know whether he'll stay at Everton. We don't know whether he'll leave Everton. We don't know where he'll be come the end of the transfer window. At the moment, it seems like he'll be an Everton player because at the moment, the latest rumours are that PSG don't want to pay the money. PSG don't want to sign him on a permanent. They're only interested in a loan deal, and Everton have made it quite clear over the last week or so that Everton are only interested in a permanent deal for Moise Kean, and Everton won't be interested in a loan deal. So it seems very much that if things don't change, Moise Kean will still be an Everton player going forward. There was a couple of rumours last night. I think Fabrizio Romano spoke on his Twitch stream about Moise Kean wanting to move back to PSG and actively wanting to make that move, that return to Paris, which, let's be honest, isn't a secret. That's nothing new to any of us to say that Moise Kean wants to move back to PSG. Again, no secret there, but the reality of the situation is if Moise Kean don't pay the money that Everton are wanting, and if Moise Kean don't come in with a permanent bid, then if PSG don't come in with a permanent bid, then Moise Kean is likely to be an Everton player next season. And obviously we seen him on show on Saturday. Like I said, first half he was very, very lively. The game sort of faded out in the second half a little bit. Everton made a lot of changes in the second half. We'll talk about the team that started the second half in a moment, but the first half was very lively. James Rodriguez getting involved. He had a couple of efforts as well. Within the first 15 minutes, Anthony Gordon had burst down the right wing. He played the ball into the box, in towards Moise Kean. Moise Kean takes a brilliant touch, to be fair, curls the ball towards the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper makes a good save. It comes out, I think, to Andre Gomez. He takes an effort at it, doesn't quite connect with it. Then James Rodriguez has a shot as well, and the keeper makes another save. There was then a couple of other opportunities in a sort of similar fashion. Again, one where Alex Iwobi makes a burst and run down the right-hand side, and James Rodriguez takes a shot. The keeper fumbles the shot. Alex Iwobi goes and picks it up, plays it back to James Rodriguez, and then James Rodriguez kills it with his left foot. And to be fair to James, it's a very, very, very good shot. It doesn't go in, obviously, but it's a very, very good effort. And on another day it might have tricked the goalkeeper, but it was a decent save in the end. And Blackburn were under a lot of pressure in the first half, but we're dealing with that pressure, quite well. Everton were piling the shots on, piling the forward play. Moise Kean was in full flow. James Rodriguez was trying to create. Andre Gomez was involved in the midfield. Alex Iwobi was trying to get forward as well. Anthony Gordon was looking lively. But for the most part, Blackburn, dealt with that pressure and dealt with that forward presence by Everton. Until, of course, Jean-Philippe Gbamin, who we mentioned just then, nicks the ball in the centre of the midfield like an absolute bulldozer. Bulldozers his way through the middle of the park. Plays a brilliant ball in to Moise Kean, by the way. Again, it's not just looking at Jean-Philippe Gbamin and the fact that he scored a goal and got an assist in the last two pre-season games. Some of the passes he has played have been absolutely fantastic. The pass to Anthony Gordon against Accrington Stanley was brilliant. The pass to Moise Kean on Saturday, which ultimately ended up in the goal, was a brilliant pass as well. Plays it into Moise Kean. Moise Kean gets it out of his feet, takes the shot. Decent effort, to be fair. Goalkeeper makes a save, but parries it into a dangerous area. And as I said before, Jean-Philippe Gbamin comes absolutely bounded it in like a bulldog and just smashes it into the back of the net, and it's 1-0 to Everton. Fantastic goal. And like I said, brilliant for Jean-Philippe Gbamin to get that goal. He's deserved it, and I'm sure it'll give him a lot of confidence going forward. Certainly going into obviously the Florida Cup, knowing that he's had a couple of really good games under his belt. Like I said, Everton continue to threaten. Everton continue to put pressure on Blackburn to create chances and have shots on goal. We then go into the second half. Everton made a lot of changes in the second half. Let me get the team up for you for the second half. If you're enjoying, by the way, please hit that like button. It only takes a second if you're new. Don't forget to subscribe. We will get into the live comments in a moment, by the way, so don't forget, if you are new, please do subscribe. Please get your thoughts in the live comments. Everton started the second half with Harry Tyrer in goal. John Joe Kenny played, I think, at left back. Seamus Coleman come on at right back. Ben Godfrey, Lewis Gibson in the middle of the defence. Abdoulaye Doucouré made his return to pre-season alongside Alan, Fabian Delph and Tom Davis partnered them in midfield, and then Benny Beningame and Charlie Whittaker played in the sort of higher positions. I think Benny Beningame might have played on the left hand side with John Joe Kenny, and Charlie Whittaker obviously played up front. So yeah, a lot of changes being made there. You like your James Rodriguez, your Alex Iwobi's, your Andre Gomez's, your Anthony Gordon's all taken off. Probably rested for the games coming up in Florida. I would assume that you like your James Rodriguez and your Anthony Gordon will feature a lot over in Florida, and it was a good opportunity for us to see Alan, Abdoulaye Doucouré back in Everton shirts, of course. Again, like I said, they are two of the players that returned to Finch Farm a little bit later than everybody else due to the COVID protocols. It was good to see them involved in the game. Charlie Whittaker, obviously it was good to see him getting involved. Young player, very good, very big future ahead of him, a lot of potential. Obviously Fabian Delph, and to be fair, quite ironically, and you might all not believe me with this, but Fabian Delph probably provided the most entertaining action of the second half, and it wasn't actually entertaining in a look at him and laugh at him way and put your hand over your eyes, put your hands over your eyes because you're embarrassed. It was actually a really good bit of skill. I think chip ball comes up from maybe Seamus Coleman, it might have been John Joe Kenny, and it's on sort of the wing, the left hand side, and Fabian Delph flicks it over his head, but sort of flicks it behind him and over, absolutely does the defender, gets in behind into the box and plays a decent pass out. I think the shot ends up getting blocked and Blackburn end up clearing. But I remember watching on the highlights and going, that's not Fabian Delph. Somebody's come in and put a sort of, somebody's come in and put Fabian Delph's shirt on and pretended to be him. That's never Fabian Delph. The skill was absolutely sublime. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't make me want to see Fabian Delph playing in the Premier League for Everton next season, but give it, dues due, fair dues to him. It was an absolutely brilliant bit of skill, and it was a great flick over his head. It never ended up amounting in nothing, but to be fair to Fabian Delph, he was in a difficult situation. He used a little bit of trickery and he got it out of his feet, and it was brilliant. If you haven't seen it, go over to the Everton YouTube channel after this stream, of course, and go and check out the highlights of the Blackburn game. You'll see it there. It's an absolutely brilliant little bit of skill by Fabian Delph to get it out of his feet. And yet, to be fair, that was pretty much all that happened in the second half, to be fair. Blackburn had the chance a little bit later on in the game. They had a corner, whipped it in. I think the header ended up hitting the post, but it ended up being called for offside anyway. But they threatened a little bit in the second half, but it wasn't very entertaining whatsoever. It was more fitness based. Obviously, you're seeing the players coming on. You like to see your Allans and your Doucourés obviously haven't been at USM Finch Farm for as long as the likes of James Rodriguez and Jean-Philippe Gbamin, so naturally they're going to be behind in regards to fitness. So it was very much a case of, getting your players out there, stretching their legs a little bit, getting them involved in a match day scenario once again, rather than sort of focusing on purely on going out and scoring another 3 or 4 goals. I think Everton could have scored 3 or 4 goals in the first half, but Blackburn and Blackburn's goalkeeper made a couple of really good saves. Like I said, Moise Keane was unlucky not to get one early on in the game. James Rodriguez could have had a couple. Anthony Gordon threatened on a couple of occasions as well. But Blackburn dealt with it in the most part, other than when big Jean-Philippe Gbamin come bouncing in, and then they just couldn't deal with that whatsoever. But look, again, like I said, not an awful lot to talk about in the second half whatsoever. It's mad because we beat Accrington Stanley 3-0. last week or the week before last, and the Everton highlights were 1 minute and 5 seconds on the YouTube channel and consisted of the 3 goals. We beat Blackburn 1-0 on Saturday, and they're 3 minutes long, and obviously there was only 1 goal, so it was interesting to see a lot more of the game rather than just a highlight of the goal, and that was it. We got to see some of the chances created, we got to see some of the bits of skill, we got to see your Allen and your Decore on the pitch, returning back at training, we haven't seen obviously beforehand. So it was interesting to see. It was really, really interesting to see. And again, like I said, maybe it'd have been better if the club would have allowed us all to watch the game. I think a lot of us would have been happier, and I think a lot of us would have watched the game, to be honest. I think that was the big uproar, is the fact that a lot of people were sitting there doing very little on Saturday afternoon and would have loved to have watched Everton, even if it is a pre-season game against Blackburn, and even if the second half was clinically boring because not much happened. I think a lot of us would have appreciated the chance to watch these Everton players in action once again, watch the likes of Moise Kean, James Rodriguez back in action at Everton, obviously Anthony Gordon, John-Philippe Gbamin, but unfortunately that's not what the club decided to do for whatever reason. What we do know is that obviously Everton now will Everton now will turn to Florida, go over to Florida for the Florida Cup. I believe they will travel tomorrow, might be today, might be tomorrow, to go over to America and Orlando to compete in the Florida Cup. First game is on Monday night, I believe, so there'll be no pre-season games now before that, and the Florida Cup will be televised, so we will be able to watch the Florida Cup either on national television or probably evertonfc.com, something like that. There'll probably be a package to be able to watch them, so we'll be able to watch the games in Florida, which will be very, very interesting, and obviously in a more competitive environment. Again, one hand, I understand why Everton didn't stream those games against Blackburn and Accrington Stanley, but on another hand, if they're going to release highlights and they're going to release reports about the game and this, that and the other, then to be fair, I would have preferred to have watched it live, but there you go. Anyway, let's get into some of the live comments then. If you are enjoying this stream, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second if you're new to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe as well. We're aiming towards, we've just hit 4,700 subscribers, so thank you all very, very much for that. Really, really do appreciate it. Just in regards to transfers for the moment, may as well talk about them for a second. We were going to come on and do another transfer stream today, but there's not really much of an update from yesterday, to be honest. Obviously, we sat down yesterday, we talked about Andros Townsend, we talked about Asmir Begovic, we talked about Damari Gray as well. We also talked about Dwight McNeil for a couple of minutes. It doesn't look like much has changed since yesterday from reported to be believed. We could see an imminent announcement of Asmir Begovic and Andros Townsend as Everton players. Like I said, imminently, probably at some point today, maybe tomorrow. Who knows when the club will decide to announce those, but it seems like those deals are pretty much done. Damari Gray isn't as far down the line. I think Sky Sports reported last night that he is due to have his medical with Everton today, so maybe Everton will wait and announce all 3 at the same time. Maybe Everton won't wait and will just announce the players as and when they sign. But one thing I would say is that until Everton officially announce those players, they haven't officially signed, and it's not, completely done. Everton will only announce the players when everything is completely done. So maybe there's bits of paperwork, bits of admin that still need to be completed, but there's not much of an update on either 3 of those players. Obviously, we were linked a little bit heavily with Dwight McNeil yesterday. I think Burnley I think one of the rumours stated that Everton had valued him at 25 million and Burnley were looking to double that for him, which would be 50 million, and he's not worth 50 million. So I think that one sort of been knocked on the head for the time being. But other than that, there's not much else really to talk about in regards to transfers, to be honest with you. Like I said, it seems that we're very, very close to announcing Asmir Begovic and Andros Townsend as new Everton players. Damari Gray seems a little bit further down the line. A little bit, sort of further away from being announced, but still looking on the right stages to becoming a new Everton player. So we'll wait and see what happens with those. As they are announced, we will have streams and videos on the channel talking about them. So if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. But yeah, there's not much of an update in regards to transfer. So I thought, you know what? Let's just come on and talk about the game on Saturday, Why not? C-Blade says, Cam, it's roasting, especially with the away kit. It certainly is. Danboy says, Keane and Gbamin looked sharp. New signings for us if they stay. They did certainly Jean-Philippe Gbamin. Moise Keane, look, again, whether or not he'll stay, we don't know. I still think Moise Keane will leave Everton this summer because I think somebody, whether it be PSG or somebody else, I think somebody will come in with a bid for him between now and the end of the transfer window, personally. And I do think Moise Kean wants to leave. But he still looked very, very sharp. So if he is to stay, he'll definitely be an addition to the squad, and he'll definitely be a member of the squad that I think will be utilised by Rafael Benitez next season. Jean-Philippe Gbamin, if we can keep him fit, I'm really, really excited to see Jean-Philippe Gbamin in the Premier League next season, because I think he could offer us something that we just don't have at the moment. Dugout says, the Dugout Football Channel, what's happening, Dougie? Says, I bet it feels like being in Spain right now. It's 24 today in Edinburgh, mate. Yeah, it's mad. It's not just the heat. It's the heat in the different times of the day, if that makes sense. So it's not just the fact that at 12 o'clock it's dead boiling, it's the fact that you're waking up to like 25 degree heat. I'm absolutely sweating. I hope you can't see it because it'll be disgusting, but I'm absolutely sweating. It's the fact that I'm going to sleep at like 1 o'clock in the morning and it's still 21 degrees outside, which, you know, usually if it was 21 degrees in midday, I'd be like, oh my god, it's boiling. But 21 degrees at 1 o'clock in the morning is like when you're on holiday and you've got to blast the aircon on full blast because you can't get to sleep because it's too hot. I like the sun I do, and I'm not going to complain, because, you know, sunny weather and overall it makes everyone feel happier, doesn't it? And it's, you know, it's just I suppose it's better than it being raining, but there's nothing better than, you know, when the sun's out sitting by a pool with a cocktail or chilling and relaxing. And obviously, you know, we can't do that, can we? So, well, some people can, and fair play to them. Sib says, what's up, Cam? What's happening, mate? Dan Boy says, morning, Cam, lad. Morning, mate. Will says, yes, Cam. Yes, Lou. Will, hope you're doing well, mate. Everton Blue says, alright, Cam, mate. Hope you're enjoying the summer. I am, mate. Hope you're enjoying yours as well. He says, if someone offered you £10 million to wear a Liverpool shirt, would you? If not, how much would someone have to pay you to wear one? No, I wouldn't. Can't be bought out with money, mate. Can't be bought out with money. No. I wouldn't, because it's not. I wouldn't anyway. But that somebody would take a picture and that image would live for the rest of your life. So no. If someone offered me £10 million, I'd drive past Anfield, but I wouldn't look at the stadium. I'd just drive past. Eugene says Everton will be jetting off to the USA tomorrow. I think it will be tomorrow, yeah, either today or tomorrow, but I'm sure it'll be tomorrow. Dan says, for £10 million, I'd just about do anything. He also says, I wish Dan Griffiths and Snodge could commentate every game in an incredible commentary duo. Well, yeah, look, again, that's what I mean. If Everton weren't to stream the games and then come out at the end and said we had no commentators, we weren't professionally filming it, but they were professionally filming it and they did have commentators there, so it makes you think, you know, if Everton are only going to put out 2 or 3 minute highlights of a 90-minute game, then what's the point in Darren Griffiths and Ian Snowden sitting there and talking about the game for 90 minutes? And if they're employed to do that, then why can't we just watch and get, you know, at least them get paid for commentating over the game that a lot of people are watching, rather than that nobody is watching? Jack, that's definitely not the case, mate. I promise you, it's definitely not the case. I think that it's a dressing gown in that bag. It's a dressing gown. Eugene says, McNeil incest book competition faced. Yeah, apparently Aston Villa are sort of rumoured to be leading that race as well. I'm not going to read that out, Phil, but fair enough. Will says, if he stays fit, he could be unreal for us. He certainly could. Danny says, you alright, Cam? I'm not too bad, mate. I'm not too bad. Yeah, Phil, you're spot on there, mate. You're spot on. Eugene says, Andros Townsend has agreed a 2-year deal with Everton after passing his medical. Philip says, great. Danboy says, Townsend will be good for us. He can cross. Again, like I said, if rumours are to be believed, then, you know, Andros Townsend is very, very close to becoming an Everton player, as is Asmir Begovic, but we'll wait and see if rumours are to be believed, won't we? Eugene says, happy 28th birthday to Everton defender Luca Dean. Have a great day, my friend. Yeah, spot on. Basic Trigonometry says, give the stream a like, takes a second and costs nothing. Thank you very much. If you could like the stream, it would mean a great deal to me. It does only take a second, and he's right, it does cost nothing. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. Jason says, hopefully he quits TalkSport. I think he's talking about Andros Townsend there. Well, you know, I'm sure the club will have had something to say on that. Kaysen says, I like eggs. Fair enough. Danboy says, Dean is our best player. Can't wait to have him back. Absolutely. And Carl says, alright, Cam, some class signings here. Actually, a bench last season. These are the kind of squad players to get us into Europe, because you need players off the bench. Yeah, well, look, again, and Human says we have 2 decent wingers now at least. Well, again, look, I said it yesterday on the stream, mate. I'm not too, you know, massively against the signings of Andros Townsend and Damari Gray. I actually think Damari Gray is a very good signing for £1.5 million. You know, 25 years old. Obviously, he's not young anymore, but I think he's certainly got a talent that he just hasn't been able to put out there yet. Obviously, he was really, really good when he was younger at Birmingham. He moved over to Leicester. He couldn't quite settle in there. He then went over to Leverkusen. Obviously, hasn't settled in there. So I think Demarai Gray could be a bit of a hidden gem. Don't get me wrong, he could come in and do absolutely nothing. But I think he could be an absolute hidden gem for Everton if he comes in and you know, we find that talent. And let's be honest, for £1.5 million, it's not like we're spending 20, 30 million pounds on a player that might have a hidden talent and might have a hidden talent. We're spending £1.5 million on him. So if he doesn't turn out to be the player that we want him to be, then it's not that big of a loss. If he does, then he's going to improve Everton Football Club. Of course he will do, because we've got no natural wingers at the moment anyway, certainly not any that contribute in any way, shape or form. And B, we can then sell him for a profit in a couple of years' time. Also with Andros Townsend, again, I get he's 30 years old, I get that he's not, you know, a consistent performer, this, that and the other, but some of his stats last season in regards to crossing into the box are very, very good. And when you listen to Rafa Benitez talking in his press conference last week, and you're listening to him saying we need to sort of play to our strengths, and our strength is Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the air and getting crosses and feeding Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And then you look at the signings that we're making. We're bringing in a winger who's got an exceptional crossing rate last season. In regards to assists, I think only Luca Dean in the Everton squad had more assists than Andros Townsend did last season. Or might have been from crossing areas or something like that. Then it makes sense. Again, Andros Townsend coming in on a free. I assume his wages won't be massively astronomical either. Asmir Begovic, I said it yesterday, no issue with the Asmir Begovic signing whatsoever. You'll very rarely sign a number 2 goalkeeper who we all know is a number 2 goalkeeper, and it'd be massively exciting. Asmir Begovic is experienced. He's played for Chelsea. He's won trophies at Chelsea. He was brilliant at Stoke early on in his career. Played for Bournemouth and was very solid there. Been on loan at AC Milan. 34 years old, I think 35 years old. Tall goalkeeper, very experienced. No issue with Asmir Begovic whatsoever. And to be honest, I've got no issue with Andros Townsend and Demarai Gray either. I think they're low risk and potential high reward. Andros Townsend could offer us something that we don't have, which is a bit of directness from the wing, which we haven't got. And Demarai Gray could be a little bit of a hidden gem. And for a combined transfer fee of 1.5 million for the three of them, I don't think that's bad whatsoever. I really, really don't. Now, if you were to say to me, Cam, they're the only 3 signings Everton make, you know, and we get to the end of the transfer window and we haven't signed another player, I'd be a little bit worried going into the season, because I don't think the 3 of them are good enough to take Everton into a European challenging side or improve Everton drastically. But I think they're more than good enough players to be a part of this squad. I think that's what Everton are doing at the moment. They're patting the squad out. They're removing, or attempting to remove, some of the deadwood players that aren't good enough and haven't got a future at the club, and they're replacing them with players that pad out the squad and bring something a little bit different. And if we can then add maybe a Denzel Dumfries or a Leon Bailey or a Dwight McNeil, all players that we've been linked with over the last 24 hours, by the way, not just names I've picked out of my head. Those 3 names mightn't be Everton players, mightn't become Everton players, but they're names that Everton have been linked with over the last 24 hours. If we can add a couple of them into the mix as well, then all of a sudden the Andros Townsend signing and the Demarai Gray signing seem a lot more exciting, I think. But yeah, as far as we know at the moment, the 3 of them are still, they haven't been announced as Everton players yet, so we'll wait and see. Akin says Ben Godfrey and the other young players are very happy with having the manager on the pitch. They have learned very much off Rafa already, he said. Well, yeah, Ben Godfrey said, didn't he? Ben Godfrey said about having a manager that is quite upfront as Rafa Benitez. He spoke quite highly of Rafa Benitez in an article that Everton put out. I think it was yesterday. So if you haven't read that, do go over and check it out. Apparently, Everton have approached Barcelona for Clement Longley. It says Eugene. I don't think we have personally, but I think that they're probably some of the rumours that are out there at the moment. I think Clement Longley's agent is probably looking for a move for him, and therefore Premier League clubs will probably be thrown in the hat, and therefore Everton will probably be thrown in the hat as well. Seablay says, Cam, what channel will the Florida Cup be on, and what time is kick-off? In regards to channel, we don't know yet. I would assume that Everton will be streaming it on their platforms, probably evertonfc.com. You might have to buy a pass, I don't know. Usually they do a pre-season package, don't they, where you'd have to pay a bit of money and then you can watch all the pre-season games, or maybe they'll put it out for free on YouTube. Again, I don't know whether it'll be broadcasted on national television. It probably will be in America. I don't know whether it will be over here, but I'm sure In fact, I'm pretty confident in saying we'll be able to watch the games. Let me try and get the kickoff times for you now as well, because I think that's really important. So Arsenal versus Inter Milan is on the 25th of July, which is Sunday. So it's Sunday, sorry, not Monday, it's Sunday. And that takes place at 6 p.m. EDT. So 6 p.m, let me get me maths up. 6 p.m. EDT to UK time. That is around about 11 o'clock UK time. So Everton's game, that is the Arsenal game, by the way. That's not Everton. That's Arsenal versus Inter Milan at 11 o'clock UK time. And Everton versus Millonarios will take place following the conclusion of the first semi-final. So let's say the first semi-final goes on for 2 hours, because usually they do go on for 2 hours. And let's say that Everton's game will kick off at maybe 8 p.m. EDT. Again, just guessing here. Obviously, if the Arsenal game goes to extra time and penalties, then it'll be a bit later. But that is 1 o'clock on Wednesday morning. Sorry, not Wednesday. That's because it's today. 1 o'clock on the Monday morning. So Everton are looking to kick off probably around about, let's say, between 12:30 and 1:30, something like that, on Monday the 26th of July. And that is, of course, taken on Millonarios, which is after the first semi-final. So, again, I don't think there's a confirmed time, but it is directly after the Arsenal versus Inter Milan game, which will likely be probably around about 1 o'clock in the morning UK time on the Monday coming up. So hopefully we'll be able to watch it. I'll be waiting up. I'll be watching it. I'll probably be doing an instant match reaction as well, so you can look out for that one. I just can't wait to see Everton back in action. The Euros were boss, and it was boss to see, all of the, the players taking part, and Jordan Pickford having a brilliant tournament, and, obviously Dominic Calvert-Lewin going away and this, that and the other. But there's nothing like watching Everton. There's absolutely nothing like watching Everton Football Club. The international football's alright, but it's not compared to Everton. I can't wait to sit down, even if it is 1 o'clock in the morning and it'll probably be absolutely boiling here. I just can't wait to sit down and watch Everton. If you're enjoying the stream, by the way, please hit that like button. It only takes a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. But yeah, in regards to the channel, I would assume Everton will have some way of showing it, and it might even be on national television as well. Certainly at that time in the morning, somebody like a ESPN or BT or something might pick it up. Will says Cam is great, currently having his medical. I don't know, mate. Sky Sports reported last night that he's due to have his medical today, but I don't know. Human says, have we signed Anzos officially? Not officially, mate. The club haven't announced it yet. And Human also says, I'm made up with Gray and Townsend. They can both get in the squad and add so much support on the wings. Yeah, spot on. Purple Rose says, we needed the striker for the striker. DCL for me is actually not good enough. I think he's highly rated. He's young. We need a proven goal scorer. I think he's good enough, but I think bringing in another experienced striker to help improve Dominic Calvert-Lewin wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Need a poacher like Danny Ings or Belotti. Will says McNeil is a great player. That was Purple Rose. Will says McNeil is a great player, but not what we need. Fair enough. Danboy says DCL overrated, question mark. Philip says nice and cool here. Aaron Yates says I hate the sunny weather, can't sleep, man. Lee says can't complain if we sign Gray and Townsend, bench improves and we won't need 15 goalies on it. Yeah, that's it. Based on trigonometry, says proven goal scored at like 20 goals a season striker. There you go. Purple Rose is Bernard being touched on yet? Anyone know the third kit yet? No, we haven't spoken about Bernard. The assumption is obviously that Bernard will leave Everton Football Club. Neil says 1:30 on 1 and 11 p.m. on 1. I think that's what Baz said. So yeah, there you go. That's AM for 1:30 and PM for 11 p.m. on the. I think the 11 p.m. one is the final. So yeah. Yeah. Like I said, in regards to Bernard, the assumption is Bernard will leave Everton Football Club. Obviously, there's no solid rumours about negotiations or who he'll go to yet, but the assumption is that Bernard will leave, and I think the club are trying to move Bernard on. I like Bernard. He seems like a really, really nice fella, and obviously technically a very good footballer, but just not suited to the Premier League. And in regards to the third kit, Hummel come out, I think, the Liverpool Echo released a statement saying Everton and Hummel will look to release the third kit at the end of the month. So, who knows? At some point soon, I would assume. Human says, let's say Everton offer you a position on the board, but you have to wear a full Liverpool kit for the first hour. Would you do it? I wouldn't want a position on the board anyway. Everton could offer me a position on the board without any Liverpool kit wearing, and I wouldn't want to take it, to be honest with you. I definitely don't, Jack. Aaron says I wouldn't wear a Liverpool shirt for any money. Nothing is worth more than my dignity. You're spot on. Certainly don't, human. Talkie toffee. Tom says, how much do you reckon we could get for Gomez and the same for Bernard? The same question for Gomez. Less than 10 million for both, in my opinion, mate. Scully says McNeil is way too slow. Just because he scored against us doesn't make him good enough. I like McNeil. I do. I think he's a really, really good player. Not just because he scored against Everton. I think he genuinely is a really good player. He isn't the fastest. He's more of a technical player. I get that. But I still think he could do a job for Everton. I do. But listen, at 50 odd million pounds, Burnley are after, that's just ridiculous money. Absolutely ridiculous money. He's not worth that. I think the stream's frozen, so we'll give it a second to sort itself out. Come on. There we go. We back. I think we're back. Is it going to do this thing? I think we're back. There you go. Kari Yuzukan says, are you a Scouser? I am a Scouser. Yes, I am. You're right. And Purple Rose says, Werner on loan, maybe. Chelsea wouldn't loan Timo Werner. Not a chance would Chelsea loan Timo Werner. Just waiting for this team to sort itself out here. I think it's still freezing. Let's hope it sorts itself out in a second. Are we all good? We're all good. No, Chelsea wouldn't loan Timo Werner. I don't think, anyway. And to be honest, I probably wouldn't take him because he'd want to start every week, and I wouldn't want him starting over Dominic Calvert-Lewin, to be honest with you. But yeah, look, again, just to finish up there, I think the stream's sorting itself out. Yeah, here we go. I think we're sorting itself out. Just to finish up, again, a really, really good result on Saturday. Not the greatest second half performance, of course, but look, it's a pre-season game, and again, it's obviously the players were out there to gain some fitness, gain some match day experience ahead of obviously their trip to Florida later on this week to play in the Florida Cup at the beginning of next week. So not an awful lot we can take from these pre-season games, but at least we got the opportunity to see the likes of Moise Kean, John-Philip Gabam and James Rodriguez all back in Everton shirts and performing as well. And yeah, if Everton are playing a game of footy, all we can ask for is a win, and they certainly did that. Good goal by Jean-Philippe Gabam, fantastic for him to get on the score sheet, of course, and I'm sure that'll do him the world of good in regards to confidence as well going forward. If you have enjoyed this stream, please hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. We will be back tomorrow with another live stream, and like I said, if Everton are to announce, whether it be Asmir Begovic, Andros Townsend, Damari Gray, we'll have a video up straight away talking about those signings. So if you are new and you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It only takes a second. It's free to do, and it'll keep you up to date with all the latest Everton news. If you hit that little bell notification icon, that little bell icon next to the subscribe button as well, you'll get notifications every time we upload or go live, so you'll be able to get involved straight away. Aaron says, any more streams today, Cam? No more streams today, but there may be a couple of videos up, obviously depending on whether or not Everton make any sort of announcement or not. But the next stream will be tomorrow morning. Again, I'm sure we'll be talking more about transfers in that. I did see plays, but I won't be commenting at all on the situation. Daniel says Tammy Abraham loan. I don't think Chelsea would loan Tammy Abraham, to be honest. I think they're going to want a lot of money for him, and I don't think he's worth that money. I just don't think Everton have got the money to spend in that area. Now says, you going to be on Toffee TV today, Cam? I will be on Toffee TV, yes. I'll be heading up there in about half an hour or so. So you'll be able to see me on there a little bit later on today. Aaron says, I'm in work later until 11 PM. Please bring a video or live out tonight. I'll be bored AF. I'll try my best, mate. I'll try my best. If we don't make any signings, I'll try and do a video a little bit later on when I come back from Toffee TV. Will says, what is the format for the Florida Cup? I think it's 2 semi-finals and a final. It might be a third place game as well. I'm not entirely sure, but it's the typical international pre-season tournament. Pable says, Moise Kean swap with the PSG player. I don't think they want to swap, do they? To be honest, I just don't think they want to buy him. I just think they want to take him on loan again. So yeah, there we go. Alex says the Florida Cup will be on my telly. And Pable says, what about this Nunes fella? Is he any good? He is a good player, Matheus Nunes, but again, the rumours have sort of quietened down on him, haven't they, for the moment. But anyway, look, we're going to finish it there then. If you have enjoyed this one, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Massive thanks to everybody for getting involved in the live comments. Really, really do appreciate it. If you're watching this YouTube video, please do leave your comments in the comment section down below, and we'll get involved with as many of them as possible. Big thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow with another live stream, and potentially a little bit later on today with another video as well. Big thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.